I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Coward for Box Score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, joined by the Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. Guys, it is National Signing Day, which means teams like Dartmouth and Southern Illinois get that much more stacked. Paulie, prestige aside of the program, where are you going to go for partying and lifestyle?
Partying and lifestyle. Wow, that was one of my reasons for choosing Southern Illinois, fun school. I'd say top three. I haven't been a ton of schools, but I've been in a few. Florida State students don't get cheated.
Whoa.
Texas students don't get cheated. Arizona State students.
Arizona.
I don't know how they make it to a class. The only time it's hot out in Arizona is during June, July, and August, and they're not in school. I'm gonna give it a tie between Florida State and Arizona State for just trouble.
McLovin, if your daughters do not go Ivy League, will they be a massive disappointment?
I don't even really think there's any reason to discuss this because they are going Ivy League. You're saying if they go to Stanford and not to Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Dartmouth? Yeah, I guess, Stanford, it's okay. It has its qualities. I can accept that. But really, there's really no reason to have a discussion otherwise.
You got to go Ivy League. And maybe they will be recruited like Michael Irvin, who talked about recruiters trying to woo him with special gifts.
No names here. Best offer you ever got from a school was what?
Do a trip, Dad. You know, a trip. A Camaro.
A Camaro.
We was driving me home in a Camaro. One recruit, as a recruit, and he said, I said, but it's a nice car. I'd never been in a car like this. Man, this is a nice car. He said, it's yours. It's yours. All we got to do is I said, what? What, man?
It strikes me as so funny hearing him tell that story because right now the idea of giving somebody a fancy car like a Camaro is like the dumbest thing you could possibly do to a recruit. Like, how could you be more obvious? And I guess they still do it based on like pictures you see and stuff like that. But like modern day and age, you'd get caught like this doing that. It seems so foolish.
If you guys ever, we talked about this before, if you ever watched the 30 for 30 about SMU football,
Yeah.
And they show Eric Dickerson and his mom standing outside. They have like what's a little better than a double wide trailer on like 10 acres in the middle of nowhere in Texas. And Eric and his mom were sitting out there all proud of signing day. And there's this brand new, it looks like it's got a sticker on it, gold Firebird. And there he is. It's right behind them. Yeah. He might as well have SMU painted on it. And I mean, when I worked at CBS, Craig James told me stories. Craig James said to me, he said to everyone in the room, he goes, man, when you leave SMU, you take a pay cut. And we all laughed and thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And now you had to hide that stuff.
And before Irvin even said anything, and we've had this with a lot of our guests, they have that little giggle or that laugh or that pause like I'm about to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And that tells it all before they even answer the
Right.
question that they were obviously offered all kinds of wild things.
Well, Fritzy, have you ever been bribed by a competitor to leave the Dan Patrick Show?
I have not been. I would be very curious to see what types of things would be on the table, especially with my reputation for pizza and Chinese food and the ladies. But no, everything's been on the up.
What if a guest really wanted to come on the Dan Patrick Show and offered you somebody who would not make the cut and offered, say, $100?
And then I wouldn't tell you guys, but then all of a sudden I'm like really selling this guy.
Kind of like getting bar mitzvah videos from guests.
Yeah,
but
like that.
Take it to the next level.
What would it take? I don't know. I'd have to see what it is. But if there was some kind of big cash prize or there was some kind of major John Elway type of souvenir, I would have to, put put that in my pocket, and all of a sudden I'll be selling it to these guys, and they'll all be looking at each other like, well, why do we want to have this beat writer on from the Daily? Whatever.
That being said, you'll pitch any third-rate WB actress if she's hot.
I would.
Yeah, I mean,
I try to find a sports connection. It's so different.
Right.
It's like I think she roller skated when
her
she was
younger
3.
brother once played lacrosse in high school.
Just any kind of little nugget that I can sell to get, especially for an in-studio opportunity. It gets pretty desperate on my part.
Well, I don't know if you proposed this to Malcolm Butler, University of West Alabama star and Super Bowl hero, to do a video for your son, but he did join the show and gave a little backstory to his big play.
What tipped it off that you knew that this is what Lockett was going to do?
I was at practice, and the scout team ran the same exact play, and I got beat on it at practice because I gave ground. Bill Belichick, he came and told me, said, Malcolm, you gotta be on that. And my DB coach, Josh Boyd, he always says that don't back up while you're in the end zone. So I don't know how all that clicked at once, but it did, and I just beat him to the point and just took the ball away.
Wow. Unlike the Danettes, this guy learned his lesson. And by the way, interesting tidbit, that pass that he was talking about was apparently reportedly thrown by Jimmy Garoppolo, the practice pass.
Wow.
It's become...
Jimmy Garoppolo would have beat him,
Yeah, that's exactly... I was thinking, your boy... Well, if you had a choice here, though, who would throw a game-winning touchdown? Garoppolo or Russell Wilson? You still have to go Russell, right?
Oh, boy, I'm a huge fan of Jimmy.
That just means he went to a directional Illinois school means that he's in your wheelhouse?
Oh, I called him way before you guys. I called him Garoppolo a couple years ago. Don't hold that against me. But in all seriousness, I love that story because it was very specific. It wasn't like the coaching staff told me to keep an eye out for this. He says in practice I got beat, and Bill Belichick walked up to me and said, hey, jump up on this play. The head coach, not the DB coach or the linebacker coach or some other random coach. And it's a very specific thing, and it ended up that little instruction, and Belichick maybe does it 100 times a practice, changed the course of the game.
Big dividends for Butler. Well, his teammate Shane Vereen called in and talked about the final play, or the big play, and also administer a shot.
Was it an out-of-body experience, though, when you're kind of looking, okay, wait a minute, they're at the 1-yard line. They didn't give it to Marshawn Lynch, and Butler just picked this off.
Yeah.
We just won the Super Bowl.
There was a huge celebration. I'm sure me running around, I couldn't find my helmet for a while. And then I went crazy running around. And then I remember everybody telling us to get off the field. The game wasn't over just yet.
Did you find your helmet after the game?
I did find my helmet.
Okay.
And I did. I was told to let you know that this is actually my first championship. So it was. So I wouldn't be able to lose my helmet any other time.
Yeah.
It was just this one time where I couldn't find my helmet.
I give Dan a lot of credit for being able to laugh at himself with this moment, because my initial reaction to it was one of almost extreme panic. When the Grunk thing first happened,
And
I was
still
like,
3 days later, we're
oh
still
my
joking.
God, we're all dead. We're all dead because of this. And Dan is completely shocked to me that even all this time later, he could still laugh about it and laugh at himself.
Yeah, it was good. I'm surprised that Bill Belichick is so mean-spirited that we'd tell Shane Vereen to say that to Dan on national TV, but it turns out Bill has a sense of humor, because I know that's the guy who told Shane to say that.
McLovin, is Dan ever going to live this one down?
Oh, yeah. He's already lived it down. He's totally moved on. I mean, incredible pro. Honestly, this is just my opinion, but I think some media critics made a deal out of it. Now, fans don't care. It was one mistake and 100 things that happened that day.
To me, it's
like nothing.
To me, it's like tripping. Imagine holding up your lottery ticket and you're the $80 million winner, and then you trip and fall off the stage, but you still have that lottery ticket in your hand. That's what Dan did.
And embracing it and being self-deprecating is the best thing you can do. So it's move on.
Because
it's not
literally, more people probably have walked on the moon than have given Anna the Super Bowl trophy.
No question.
But think about this too. This is probably Dan wouldn't want to hear this, but can you think of one other Super Bowl? Every year somebody hands out the trophy. Can you think of one question that's ever been asked on the podium by anybody else?
No, I usually don't really pay attention to that.
Guess who else does it? America.
Aren't you curious, though, about the next NBC Super Bowl?
Is he on the fence? Is he?
I don't know what his contract is. I don't know whatever, but there's one, 3-4 years away?
Does Josh Elliott use this when he pitches himself for that?
You know what I'm saying? He's clearly the guy in waiting.
Stay tuned.
Just saying.
Back off, Josh. We want the boss to do that. Stick around. We are looking forward and ahead to the NFL draft and, more importantly, draft beer. We are back here on the box score. Gentlemen, the NFL draft is in Chicago this year, and that can only mean one thing. Drafts at the draft. And Paulie, it's in Chicago. It's in April. We have checked. There is a Cubs game in Wrigley. McLovin, we have also checked. And medievalist Benjamin Bagby's one-man show of Beowulf is also in town that week.
Wow.
What are you guys going to do to sort of persuade the boss to really move ahead with this?
Should we share our conversation?
Yes, we should actually tell.
Paulie and I had a side conversation.
Yes, we've been talking about this for a while now. When they announced the draft was in Chicago, we said we wanted to go. Now, when you have a national radio and TV show, the logistics of doing a show at a remote location are pretty tough. So instead of asking permission for our bosses at DirecTV, we decided to go the opposite route and just announce on national TV that we're going, and then they could formulate the plan afterwards. And we did that again today, as Dan, said we're going, and I think Seton talked about it in the box. I'm not sure, but we're going. I don't know how we're going to get all the cameras and stuff there, but we're going.
Well, we here at the Box are pretty damn jealous that you guys get to go. So we know the bosses watch the show every day and also pay attention to social media. So we are asking the good folks out there in TV land to tweet us at the Box Score Show and say, hey, DirecTV bosses, send the Box Score to Chicago for drafts at the draft, or the more abbreviated hashtag HDBS, TBS, TCF, DATG for short.
Brock, quick question. If you did come to Chicago, the draft's on like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. I guess that means you'd be out the following Monday. Is that how it works?
Yeah, are you going to stay for the round 7 and then miss a day of work?
Yeah, because we know how hard it is for you to get back.
By the way, congrats on making it 2 days in a row, though.
Yeah.
What
a run.
Iron Man. No Wally Pip here. I asked Miller Huggins, and he says I can continue here. You guys coming back from Phoenix, fresh off the meet and greet for Red Hook. Seton, any good stories from there?
Oh boy, you know what? Meet and greets are awesome. They're really great, but they're basically like a series of 15-second conversations for about 4 hours.
Yep.
That usually involve, hey, yeah, cool, thanks a lot, awesome, thank you so much, sure, I'll take a picture, and then like the next person. So there were a few stage 5 clingers. That was a little interesting. But other than that, I mean, everybody was pretty awesome. Zach from Jimmy Eat World came by. That was pretty great. He hung for a while.
Do you find that the mood changes as people drink a little more towards the end?
Get a little wild.
Okay, there are two things.
More advice.
There's usually 2 things that happen that changes the mood. People start to get really drunk, and Dan leaves.
Yeah.
And those are usually 2 things that sort of damper and then damper even more.
Well, people are in their best behavior. If Dan's around, people are not going to mess around. If it's just us, they'll mess with us.
You're absolutely right. That's all absolutely right.
Well, special thanks to everyone that came out to Phoenix also and braved the mud and all that stuff. Joy Reese, Goob in Arizona, a bunch of people came out there. So thanks to all you guys. Coming on back, we are going to take the time machine back to the 90s, but we are never coming back. We are back here on the Box Score with Missy Elliott kicking ass, gas below $19 a gallon, and of course Frosted Tips making a well-deserved comeback. It feels like it's the 90s all over again, which got me nostalgic for the golden age, but not about the fashion and the music, sports in particular. So how about this? We do a little pop quiz. We're going to pair you up. Let's go Paulie and Fritzy and McLovin versus Seton, and we'll start off with a pair of easy ones. To Paul Lipsy. First question, which player hit the most home runs in the 90s?
Wow.
McGuire or Sosa or Bond, something in that ballpark? Is that too far back? Those are the first 3 names. Yeah, let's go McGuire.
Mark McGuire.
You gentlemen are absolutely correct. 405, most for any decade.
Yeah.
Hashtag unassisted. On to Team McSeton. Who threw for the most touchdowns in the 90s?
Harvard.
Oh, Favre?
Yeah.
See, I was going to go, no, that's too far back.
Can we steal if they don't get it?
I would say
Favre.
Favre, Marino.
No steals yet.
No, he didn't.
It's
Elway.
It's not,
Elway didn't have big numbers consistently.
it's got to be Favre.
Who's the other guy you think of?
Favre's a good guess.
See, Favre didn't start until a couple years into the 90s.
But he's still.
Montana retired.
Yeah, he was done.
Young didn't. Yeah, Young had a lot of touchdowns.
Maybe today.
That's interesting.
Let's go with Favre.
I think Favre, yeah.
Brett Favre.
After all that, gentlemen, you are absolutely correct. 235
Nice.
touchdown
Well done,
passes
Andrew.
for Mr. Favre. Trust your gut. Back to Team Pitsy. This is in Paulie's wheelhouse. Over the course of 3 World Cups, which player scored the most goals?
I didn't know that.
In the 90s.
Maybe I don't know.
That's too far back for Donovan, right?
Oh, yeah. Not,
90s.
World Cup.
I'm going to say, oh, man.
Can we steal?
I'm going to go Roberto Baggio from Italy.
If he gets this.
McLovin, let me have your guess.
Ronaldo?
Both of you are incorrect.
He's
It
still
was
playing 12
absolutely,
years
it's
later.
actually Jurgen Klinsmann with 11.
Really? I was going to go Tati.
The big
number
German.
10.
I mean, like, yeah, like Ronaldo's still playing.
There's another Ronaldo.
Yes, of course. Team
you
Pat
think
Lovin,
Ronaldinho.
this is worth a
Ronaldinho.
point per
Ronaldo was
answer.
before Ronaldinho.
Nehemiah?
I would have said.
Ronaldo Nehemiah. 2
Klinsmann.
teams in the 4 major sports lost 4 championships during the decade. Who are they?
Wait, what? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, 2 teams in the 4 major sports lost 4 championships during the decade. Who are they?
Oh, the Buffalo
Buffalo
Bills.
Bills.
And the,
Let's see. Let's go sport by sport.
the Braves?
Booyah!
Good guess.
Yeah.
Championships though? Did they get the?
I'm gonna say, I would say it's the Bills and the Braves.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It is the Bills and the Braves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Team Papsy is on the clock, worth 2 points if you can name 2 here. Only 3 college hoops players were 2-time first-team All-American players in the 90s. Name 2.
But in the early
Okay.
90s. 91, 92 was the Duke championship.
Christian Leitner.
Okay. Big Grand? Well, it wouldn't be both same school. Not Weber.
He only did 2 years. Go with your first guess. Christian Leitner and Grant Hill.
We were looking for Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Johnson, or Tim Duncan.
Tough City,
I
USA.
would not have guessed any of those.
Team
That was
11.
a tough one.
Let's see if we can get this one right. One nation came home with the most gold medals over the course of the 5 Olympics held in the 90s.
United
Summer or winter?
States.
All of them.
Or all?
I
Wow.
say United States. We pretty
Yeah,
much,
we were-
usually clean up.
We were in there all. It wasn't like 80s.
We'll
like
take
we
the
worked
field.
on it. We'll go with the United States.
Do we get the field?
Well, we'll give it to the field on that one. It is the answer is the Soviet Union with 100, just past the United States
those
with
guys.
98.
That
McLovin,
was a steal
Seton,
first?
you win.
Take it, everyone else.
Congratulations. Stick around. We are going from the outhouse to the penthouse, and we are sneaking in through the plumbing. We're closing up shop here on the box score. A story has been circulating about a pair of Irish football fans that snuck past all security, invisible or not, I'm not sure, and got all the way down to the 4th row and watched the Super Bowl. Paulie, this seems like it's completely up your alley. Have you ever sort of voluntarily upgraded your view at a sporting event?
Almost exclusively in the 80s and 90s, I snuck into sporting events. I snuck in a bunch of college football games in the Big Ten area. My best one, though, was the Super Bowl in Jacksonville. I think it was Jacksonville or Houston. I can't remember which one it was. It may have been both. I had a credential that got me into the tailgate area because we're doing a radio show right outside the stadium. But my credential was not, it didn't have the things that said, in the game. But you can't tell that much. There's like an M here, G here. There's a little bit of color difference. So I grabbed a bunch of ESPN radio shirts and went up to the young kid who was at the gate. And I had 2 other people with me and from ESPN radio. And I go, hey, we got a bunch of extra shirts. Do you got to pass them out to all your buddies? These guys are like, yeah, free shirts, free shirts. I'm like, cool. I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah. And he wiped us up, and we walked in. And
You didn't do the pretend you're on an important call, doing a quick
That's
flash
not bad,
up security.
too.
Like,
That's a good move, too, but I snuck into 2 Super Bowls without credentials, yes.
How about you, Fritzy? How many times have you blatantly misused credentials?
Not to misuse the credential. I've tried to sneak down before, and it's always embarrassing, especially if you're taking your son down who really wants to get into like the loge or the field level, and you promise him you're going to get a lot closer, and then some 80-year-old lady blocks you from getting into the lower seats, and then you got to go all the way back up to the mezzanine or the upper reserve. So never try to finagle something with the credential. I did once, and I can't believe I'm admitting this, and I don't remember. I'll leave names out because I don't remember who it was, but I think someone else was trying to get in who was a good friend of mine, and there may have been one occasion where I did the kind of pass it across after I got in, so another person, which is a really.
I've done that 3 times in the past week.
That was called Phoenix.
Yeah, that's all I do. That's all I do.
We did do it. I remember we talked about the show. What is too old to sneak down in a stadium?
Never.
Is there a cutoff?
I think it depends. If there's not a big crowd, let's say you're at a cool game and the crowd's dead.
Yeah.
You should take a walk down, take a stroll down.
I don't know. I feel awfully embarrassed doing it. I'm not good at that kind of stuff.
I don't usually do it, but if it's real dead.
Yeah, I'm not really.
I don't understand when people can't find their seats. Like, it's that confusing. There's always every time I go to a game, there's always one group of people that you can't figure it out. Section 213, row K,
I figured
seat
you were
5
that
and
guy.
6.
Yeah, I'm totally.
You're definitely that guy.
I don't have a great sense of direction, but it's always amazing to me. That's like, I'm supposed to be sitting.
We
over.
found the one thing that you can figure out.
That's the
on your
one
own.
thing. Everything else, I need GPS for everything else. But you should be able to kind of figure out where you're actually match your ticket to the seat.
GPS, Todd. Come on.
Can't spell it.
Seton, have you ever snuck into a concert or a sporting event?
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially concerts. I snuck into a lot of those. Sporting events, a few. I was more of a buy a cheap seat and sneak down kind of guy. But concerts, absolutely. A billion back doors, and I snuck into like the Warped Tour once.
Wow.
Really cool. Let me tell you.
All right, so the man who snuck into the Lilith Fair, Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
Chris Mannix and Kay Adams will be hosting from our Soho studios in New York City. Heavyweight champ Vladimir Klitschko is going to be in studio with them. Mike Farrell of Rivals.com will recap National Signing Day.
Former match star BJ Huntington.
There you go. Rob Ninkovich may stop by and join the group after the parade today, and possibly some other surprises as well.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for watching The Box Score. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on Audience Channel 239. The podcast is available also on iTunes and at podcast1.com.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey! Thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!